the unseen force that owns the room. Step into a room full of noise, people shouting their opinions, wearing their emotions like badges, chasing attention like it's oxygen. Now picture one man, standing apart. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't chase approval. He doesn't flinch when the world demands a reaction. His calm is a weapon, his silence a strategy. That man is nonchalant, and he's the most dangerous person there. Not because he's loud, but because he's unreadable. Not because he's aggressive, but because he's in control. In a world addicted to chaos, nonchalance is the ultimate power move, a quiet rebellion that shifts the game without saying a word. Let's unpack why this misunderstood trait is your key to commanding any space. The essence of nonchalance. Nonchalance isn't apathy. It's not the absence of care. It's the precision of it. It's choosing when to care, what to reveal, and how to move. It's dominance disguised as disinterest, a calculated restraint that makes others lean in while you stand still. Machiavelli, the master of power's theatre, understood this. He taught that a prince must appear composed even when chaos swirls around him. Why? Because desperation is a chain. Show it, and others will yank it. But when your face betrays no urgency, your words no panic, your eyes no hunger, you become a mystery. And mystery is a weapon. The nonchalant man doesn't rush to fill silence with noise. He doesn't react to every slight, every rumor, every jab. He watches, judges, waits. His stillness isn't passivity, it's strategy. While others burn energy proving themselves, he conserves his, striking only when the moment is ripe. This discipline unnerves people. They wonder, why doesn't he react? Why doesn't he chase? What's he hiding? Their uncertainty becomes his leverage, their curiosity, his control. In a world that rewards noise, his quiet is deafening. The psychological edge. Nonchalance is psychological warfare. When you stop reacting, you flip the script. The world is drawn to what it can't predict, obsessed with what it can't grasp. Machiavelli warned against emotional transparency. Show your intentions, and you hand others the keys to manipulate you. But show nothing, and they're left scrambling. The nonchalant man feels everything but reveals nothing. He thinks deeply while appearing detached. He holds the upper hand while seeming oblivious. This creates a vacuum others rush to fill. Consider a negotiation. One side is loud, animated, oversharing their needs. The other sits back, calm, offering only measured words. Who has the edge? The silent one. Why? Because he's unreadable. His counterpart projects motives, assumes weaknesses, and overplays their hand. The nonchalant man's restraint forces others to reveal themselves while he stays hidden. This is power, not needing to prove anything, yet commanding everything. It's not just business. In relationships, nonchalance creates polarity. When you don't cling, don't chase, don't beg for validation, you create tension, a magnetic pull. People pursue what retreats. They obsess over what doesn't need them. Your detachment doesn't push them away. It draws them closer because humans crave what feels rare. By holding your center, you dictate the emotional climate. They guess your feelings, question their own, and play your game without realizing it. The discipline of stillness. This calm isn't natural. It's earned. The nonchalant man has trained himself to pause, to delay, to observe. He's built a fortress between his emotions and his expressions. He doesn't confuse urgency with action, nor visibility with influence. Every move is deliberate, every word measured. This discipline is what separates him from the crowd. Think of a lion in the wild. It doesn't roar at every rustle in the grass. It watches, waits, strikes only when the kill is certain. The nonchalant man operates the same way. He doesn't jump into every argument, chase every opportunity, or respond to every provocation. He knows most battles aren't worth fighting, Most words aren't worth saying. His restraint creates a presence that lingers, a gravity that pulls others in. This discipline comes at a cost. It means sitting with discomfort, resisting the urge to react when anger flares or ego demands attention. It means facing misunderstanding without explaining yourself. It means delaying gratification when the world screams for instant response. But this cost is what makes nonchalance rare. Most people are slaves to impulse, reacting, oversharing, seeking validation. The nonchalant man is free because he's mastered himself. Machiavelli's theater of power. Machiavelli knew power is a performance. It's not enough to be strong, you must appear strong. It's not enough to feel composed, you must seem unmoved. Perception shapes reality. If others believe you're in control, they treat you as such. If they think you're unaffected, they question their own actions. Nonchalance is the perfect act, not a costume for approval, but a habit forged through clarity. Take Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's ideal prince. When faced with betrayal, he didn't lash out. He smiled, invited his enemies to dinner, and struck only when their guards were down. His calm was a mask, his nonchalance a trap. By appearing unthreatened, he controlled the room. You don't need a throne to do this. In a boardroom, a date, or a heated argument, the one who stays calm while others unravel holds the reins. This isn't about being cold, it's about being deliberate. The nonchalant man feels deeply but filters it with discipline. He's not numb, he's strategic. He knows emotion is currency, and he spends it sparingly. When he speaks, his words carry weight because they're rare. When he acts, his moves hit hard because they're calculated. In a world of oversharing, his restraint feels sacred. The paradox of pursuit. Here's the paradox. The less you chase, the more others pursue. People are drawn to what moves away from them. They obsess over what ignores them. They respect what doesn't beg. The nonchalant man doesn't demand attention. He commands it by withholding. His silence creates tension, his detachment authority. By not needing, he becomes needed. By not chasing, he becomes chased. Imagine a social gathering. One person is loud, animated, desperate to be seen. Another stands quietly, observing, offering only a few words when prompted. Who draws the crowd? The quiet one. Why? Because his restraint feels rare. His presence feels earned. People project depth onto his silence, strength onto his calm. They want to crack the mystery, to earn his attention. This is the gravity of nonchalance. This dynamic plays out everywhere. In romance, the one who doesn't cling creates desire. In leadership, the one who doesn't micromanage earns loyalty. In conflict, the one who doesn't react forces the aggressor to second guess. By refusing to play the world's frantic game, you set the rules. The cost of being unshaken. Nonchalance isn't for the weak. It demands discipline most lack. The world will test you, insult you, provoke you, tempt you to break. It will misjudge your calm as arrogance, your restraint as indifference. And that's the point. The nonchalant man doesn't flinch at misunderstanding. He's not here to be liked. He's here to win. Winning, in the Machiavellian sense, isn't about having more. It's about outlasting, outmaneuvering, outwitting. This requires private battles. The nonchalant man has faced his fears alone, burned through his insecurities in silence, learned to sit with tension without breaking. He's not immune to emotion. He's mastered it. He's not unaffected by chaos. He's trained himself to stand still in it. Every time he resists the urge to react, he grows stronger. Every time he lets silence speak, he gains control. Consider history's masters of nonchalance. Abraham Lincoln, often described as stoic, faced a divided nation and personal loss with measured calm. His restraint wasn't weakness, it was strategy. When advisors urged rash action during the Civil War, he paused, reflected, and acted only when the path was clear. His composure shaped a nation. Or take modern icons like James Dean, whose cool detachment made him a cultural magnet. He didn't chase fame, he embodied it, letting the world come to him. Nonchalance in practice. How do you cultivate this? Start small. Pause before responding to a provocation. Let silence hang a moment longer than feels comfortable. Resist the urge to explain yourself when misunderstood. Watch how others react when you don't. Notice how your restraint shifts the dynamic, how they lean in, how they reveal more, how they adjust to your calm. In conversations, speak less. Let others fill the void. In conflicts, don't take the bait. When someone insults you, meet it with a nod and a half smile. When they expect you to chase, walk away. When they demand a reaction, give them nothing. Not because you don't care, but because you choose what matters. This isn't manipulation. It's sovereignty. You're not playing games, you're controlling the emotional space. Try this for a week. Don't post your every thought online. Don't jump into every argument. Don't respond to every message instantly. Watch how people's behavior shifts. They'll text again, press harder, seek you out. Your absence creates presence. Your restraint creates weight. You become the one they can't ignore, not because you're loud, but because you're rare. The emotional sovereignty of nonchalance. In relationships, nonchalance is power, not the cold shoulder, but emotional independence. You can love deeply without clinging, care fully without losing yourself. When you don't need someone to complete you, you create space for genuine connection. People are drawn to those who are whole, who don't beg for validation. Your calm becomes their anchor, your restraint their fascination. This applies to friendships too. The friend who doesn't demand attention, who listens more than they speak, who stays steady when others spiral, that's the one people turn to in crisis. Why? Because their nonchalance feels like strength. They're the eye of the storm, the calm others crave when chaos hits. Even in leadership, nonchalance sets you apart. The boss who doesn't micromanage, who trusts their team but holds a quiet authority, inspires loyalty. Employees don't work for the loudest voice. They work for the one who feels unshakable. Your calm becomes their confidence, your restraint their clarity. The quiet that commands. In every room, there's one person who doesn't compete. They don't jump into every debate, chase every spotlight, or offer their opinion unprompted. They own the room because their energy is rare. Their presence doesn't beg, it commands. You feel pressure to be loud, to assert yourself, to fill space with sound. But true confidence doesn't need permission. It doesn't perform power, it carries it quietly. And when that quiet enters a room, everyone notices. Nonchalance isn't arrogance, it's mastery. Mastery of timing, presence, expression. The ability to feel deeply and show nothing. To be fully engaged while appearing detached. People chase what retreats, obsess over what ignores them, respect what doesn't beg. The less you reveal, the more they imagine. The less you pursue, the more they seek. The less you speak, the more your words carry. Machiavelli warned that the appearance of virtue is more useful than virtue itself. Likewise, the appearance of indifference is more powerful than being truly indifferent. A man who feels nothing is numb. Numbness is weakness. But a man who feels everything and filters it with discipline is untouchable. He can sit across from chaos, insult, or temptation and choose silence. That choice is his power. The world's reaction to stillness. Watch how people panic in silence. They scramble to fill it, confess too much, try too hard. They can't stand not knowing what you're thinking. That's the leverage nonchalance creates. You say nothing, and they reveal everything. You stay calm, and they lose control. You don't chase, and they question themselves. This is how power is built, not through domination, but discipline. If someone angers you and you stay composed, they falter. If they insult you and you shrug, they squirm. If they resist you and you don't pursue, they doubt. Your restraint forces them to confront their own noise. In that contrast, you rise above without a word. This isn't about superiority. It's about sovereignty. You choose what enters your world, what deserves your energy, what warrants your response. The long game of nonchalance. Nonchalance is a long game. It's not about instant wins or loud victories. It's about outlasting the impulsive, outmaneuvering the reactive, outwitting the frantic. The world is addicted to stimulation, trends, drama, validation. But the nonchalant man rises above it. He's not swayed by popularity, rushed by time, or shaken by noise. His calm is magnetic because it's rare. His stillness feels unnatural because it's deliberate. Machiavelli knew that to rule, a man must be feared more than loved, but never hated. Nonchalance walks that line. It inspires respect without needing affection. It holds power without needing volume. When you speak, your words hit harder because they're sparse. When you act, your moves land stronger because they're intentional. Your presence feels sacred because it's measured. Building the nonchalant mind. How do you become this? It starts with clarity. The nonchalant man sees what matters and discards what doesn't. He's not distracted by petty slights or fleeting trends. He's not ruled by ego or insecurity. He's faced his fears in private, wrestled his impulses in silence, and emerged with a mind that doesn't flinch. Start by observing yourself. Notice when you feel the urge to react, to explain, to prove. Pause. Ask, does this matter? Will my reaction change the outcome? Most of the time, it won't. Let the moment pass. Let the silence speak. Over time, this becomes instinct. You'll feel the rush of anger, but choose calm. You'll sense the pull of attention, but choose restraint. You'll hear the noise, but stay steady. This clarity extends to your goals. The nonchalant man knows what he wants but doesn't broadcast it. He moves toward his purpose quietly, letting others underestimate him until it's too late. He doesn't need applause to keep going. His confidence is internal, his validation self-supplied. This is what makes him untouchable. Not that the world stops testing him, but that he stops reacting to it. Nonchalance in a noisy world. We live in an age of oversharing. Social media rewards the loud, the emotional, the reactive. But the nonchalant man stands apart. He doesn't post every thought, respond to every critic, or chase every trend. His absence creates intrigue. His restraint creates authority. When he does speak, whether in a tweet, a meeting, or a quiet conversation, people listen. Not because he's loud, but because he's rare. Think of the cultural icons who embody this. Muhammad Ali, at his peak, wasn't just a fighter. He was a presence. His taunts were calculated, his confidence unshakable. He didn't need to scream to be heard. His calm made his words cut deeper. Or consider modern leaders like Elon Musk, who often responds to chaos with cryptic tweets or silence. His nonchalance forces others to dissect his every move, amplifying his influence. You don't need fame to wield this power. In your own life, nonchalance shifts dynamics. The colleague who doesn't gossip but listens intently becomes the one people confide in. The friend who doesn't overpromise but delivers quietly becomes the one they trust. The partner who doesn't cling but stands whole becomes the one they can't let go. Your calm becomes their anchor, your restraint their fascination. The final lesson: nonchalance is not pretending not to care. It's caring so precisely that the world can't shake you. It's not the absence of emotion, but the presence of control. The nonchalant man is not void of feeling. He's overflowing with discipline. He's trained himself to sit with tension, to hear insult without blinking, to feel pressure without rushing. This is the highest form of self-respect. You don't become nonchalant by accident. It's forged through pain, patience, and purpose, It's choosing silence when your ego screams for noise. It's walking away when your pride demands a fight. It's knowing your worth so deeply that you don't need the world's permission to stand tall. The world will test you, provoke you, misunderstand you, tempt you to break. But the test isn't about how loud you can fight. It's about how still you can stay. Be nonchalant, not to appear powerful, but because you already are. Let others chase, react, unravel. You stand steady, eyes forward, intent clear. In a world screaming to be heard, your quiet will command the most. If this shifts how you see power, drop a comment. Share how nonchalance has played out in your life when you stayed calm and watched the room shift. Want to master the minds of history's greatest thinkers? My book, Guided by the Greats, A Path to Self-Growth, is your guide to composure, clarity, and quiet strength. Find it in the pinned comment or video description. Now go own the silence.